We are never far. In fact, we are here. Here is all there is. I've been learning to be here, and it has been so challenging because I never knew I wasn't. Yes, I've been distracted. I've experienced disruption of my thought pattern, but I have yet to observe my thought pattern to the degree of allowing them to pass and flow like clouds. My thoughts come in and then they leave. They don't turn into rumination as they once did, because I'd have a thought that leads to another thought that leads to another thought. But now my thoughts, they don't spiral like they used to. I could have a thought like I'm cold, and then I go put on a sweatshirt. I can have a thought like I'm hungry. Then I could have a thought, when should I wash my hair? Instead of I'm hungry, I don't want to be here. This is such a terrible situation where I can't eat right now. Like, what am I going to do? I feel terrible when I can't eat. Like, those might be true. But focusing on that in the moment when I can't eat is never going to make food appear. I could think about how great it will be when I do eat. That might make food appear. I honestly am just rambling, but when I ramble is when I have the best thoughts of my life, let me tell you. And rambling is different than rumination, because my rambles, they're all over the place, but rumination is like a direction where you're heading. You have a thought and then you head in that thought's direction, when really you could just let it go. Surrender that thought and begin a new one. Bless my situation, give me freedom. Being able to think back to a time when people weren't free, and knowing that some people right now are not free, has been something that blows my mind, honestly. I know that I can appreciate the thought of being free, because I always thought I was free. But then I thought I wasn't. And then I felt like I was again. So it's kind of like you're inherently free, but you have to remember that. And you can only remember it by feeling like you aren't free. Like, have you ever felt like you're not free? You're not free to do what you want when you clock in. You clock in and then your freedom is temporarily revoked. And then people don't want to hear what you have to say. They try and silence you. They try and pay you no mind. But when you start to pay mind to yourself, you also get to pay yourself. You get to pay yourself mind. But what if I don't want to pay myself mind? Well, you have to choose. You have to choose what you want to do. Choosing what you want to do is really just setting you up to make another choice, So it's not like the end all be all. You got to choose this and this is it. It's the choice before the choice before the choice. And you are your choices. So that's why you're constantly changing. But change is not the same as growth. You could change without growing. Growth is an intention behind the change. I wasn't always intentional with my words and actions, and I'm learning to be better. I'm learning to be intentional with my words and actions. And the learning process is it's a lot of cycles. It's just a bunch of cycles you gotta break. When you choose to be a cycle breaker, you find out who you really are. Because you're no longer repeating the patterns and the cycles that were your programmed beliefs into who you are. You get to start new cycles. Cycles where you get to speak your truth and you get to stand in your beliefs and you get to share your thoughts and creativity with others. Be with me frequently. I frequently want to be here. I want to be here so often that here is all that exists to me. Because when I'm there, I can't take action. When I'm in the past, I'm paralyzed. When I'm in the future, I'm anxious. Accessing the past is only possible from memories of the now moment, and accessing the future is only possible through imagination from the now moment. But still, when you're remembering and you're imagining, you're not doing. You can't take action. I still remember and, use my imagination daily. It's just not my intention, and I know that my actions follow my intentions. So I've been taking action more frequently because I decided to be here more frequently. Know that there's love. There's so much love to give and to receive, and love is infinite and eternal, and love is the foundation of our reality. We are created from love. Creation, source energy is true love. I like to think about how the timing of my life has unfolded perfectly for me to learn and experience everything I've ever wanted, everything I've ever desired. It's here for me. I just gotta get it. It's here, but I gotta go get it. I have it. And that is a joyful realization. I already have it. Of course, I gotta share what I have. And this is how I know I can both share and grow. I am not very expressive in my day-to-day interactions. I like to ponder on my own. And this is why I've had to take steps to mitigate rumination, anxiety, stagnancy. Because it was just such an inherent part of who I was, unknowingly, of course, but once I was able to bring my subconscious into my conscious awareness and, integrate the shadow of who I am with the light, I just think that this is a everlasting process, and this is just the beginning. I can hold the two concepts of knowing this is just the beginning and knowing that I have cultivated extensive knowledge to this point. I can hold both these ideas. I am privileged in ways that many people cannot admit. I'm privileged to be able to record this. I have access to technology. I've had access to education, resources to obtain a job. I've never gone hungry. I'm privileged in many ways. The intersectionality of who I am allows me to hold two concepts of being privileged as well as oppressed at the same time. Neither of these define me. They're just categorizations. But I can acknowledge how I am categorized. I don't choose to put myself in boxes such as labels and categories outside of my identity. And I know identity differs, but for me, my identity is descriptive of my skin color, my nationality, my ethnicity, my gender. I am a minority in many of these aspects. I feel like I'm a minority in other aspects that do not have to do with my identity. I wonder what the difference between identity and characterization is. Like, I could say that I am intelligent, concise, thought-provoking. But this is not my identity. These are descriptives. Bless this generation. Let them know. I gotta let them know that you could say whatever, even if it don't make sense. It's the intention behind what you say that is felt. Not everyone can label their feelings. I often would feel things and not know how to describe the feeling. Being able to learn how to describe my feelings was the greatest gift I've received through meditation. Because when I sit with my feelings, it gets easier to identify them. I no longer desire to push down the feelings that I don't understand. I tell my family that I'm not afraid of the dark. Who's to say this is true or false? I'm aware of the dark. Is that different than being afraid? You could be aware that you're afraid. But not many people are aware of their fears. Especially their fears of emotions. People might know that they're afraid of snakes, but do they know that the reason behind being afraid of a certain object is a memory associated with it? Our memories store information based on our emotions. I love to explore my inner dialogue. At one point, my inner dialogue was just regurgitations of things that I've heard, certain TikTok sounds. Of course, they still are to some degree, but I've cleared enough space to have pauses between my thoughts where I can either respond or choose to think more and allow the thought to come. It's not even like thinking more, it's just allowing the silence to be, and then a thought will come. I am proud of who I am becoming. Part of who I'm becoming is someone who provides an outlet for creativity to flourish.